Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. It's our program, your daily morning routine and dose. Morning Spring here at Western Spring Television, where we say it as it is. This is where we look into every issue, matters concerning you, the distinguished people of Nigeria and everybody living here and even beyond. Any matter that has to do with public interest, public importance. That's what we have conversation about here at Western Spring Television, channel 190 on the Star Times DTT. And also, we are beaming live on all our online platforms, the YouTube, Facebook, all at Western Spring Television. Femi Oyo is my name, and it gives us great pleasure to welcome you to this program today. Once again, good morning. Good morning, Lily.
Good morning, Femi. How are you doing?
Very well.
You know, it's a cool morning. We thank God for the showers of rain yesterday night. And if you're wondering, it didn't rain at my side. Well, if you are staying in Oyo State, at least you should have gotten a win of the rain. Welcome on board. It's another beautiful day, Tuesday, 16th day, the month of April 2024. We are always grateful to God for life. My name is Evelyn, Ohiolei, welcoming you specially to this edition.
All right, and talking about the rain yesterday that fell, it was a bit, not just a bit, it was very
windy.
Windy, yeah. I got home to see my neighbor's cover of a water tank in my own compound.
Oh.
And, you know, the person is not even usually at home, so I was just wondering, how did that happen? You know, bizarre things happened. Did the wind unscrew? You know what it takes to screw the cover of a water tank storage? Yeah, it is what it is, and many persons as well, you know, said about how it affected them. It was very windy as well, and that's why you tell people when things are happening like this, find a cover, you know, find shelter. But you know, these Nigerianness in us. I will get home. I will get home. And then you are hit by something on the road, and which is not really good for anybody. But on the program, we shall look at what the papers have for us. Take some headlines from the papers, and the papers are in. I can assure you of that. But before we go to that, we had it yesterday. Malam Nasir El-Rufai is one man known for his character, either for the good thing or perceived bad thing. Whenever and whatever he thinks to say, whatever he chooses to say it, he doesn't hold back and he doesn't fear. For many that know him, you know, about what he thinks he will say. He was delivering a lecture somewhere yesterday, and he made that pronouncement that is generating ripples right now. That it seems the subsidy never went anywhere in the first place. Subsidy payment. In fact, he said from day one, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been paying subsidy. Newsflash.
Yeah, it was indeed a very big revelation.
It was
yesterday.
Categorical.
Exactly.
Nothing was quoted out of context.
But then we would also want to look at the other side, the flip side of it. What he said, Nasir El-Rufai speaking at this time? You know, there have been a lot of rumors and speculations that he is out of the APC and is, you know, moving into another party.
He hasn't said that.
You know, that was, I said, rumors and speculations. And this statement from him actually is pointed to the fact that probably Malam Nasir El-Rufai already has a fallout with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Maybe he's no more part of the fold.
Exactly. So hence this particular declaration or this particular revelation. But then fingers crossed, you know, there have been people that have been saying, especially experts and those that are actually in the oil field, saying that the federal government is still paying subsidy, that there's nothing they want to say, subsidy is still on.
That news never went away.
Exactly. But the federal government over time has always come out to debunk it, saying that subsidy is gone and gone for good.
Yeah.
But then, fingers crossed, Nigerians really want honesty, transparency, and accountability. If subsidy is being paid, if it's in the interest of the people, let them know.
Come clean.
That's it. Let them know. So we know where our monies are going into.
Yeah.
So, you know, this one by Nasir El-Rufai, some people may consider it political talk.
Yeah.
It's also plus for the opposition because they are going to latch on this and they are going to milk it dry.
How about Nigerians? Not even opposition right now, because many persons will feel betrayed. There are many persons who trusted President Bola Tinubu when he says subsidy is gone, you must go through the pain, the road will be rough, but trust us to make them great again. And if they are now hearing that whatever they told us that was gone, that we need to pay for, and we have been coughing out money very painfully from our pocket, affecting every spheres of our life, for you to now know that somebody has come out yesterday to say the subsidy payment is still on. So the question many Nigerians will be saying is, so what have I been paying for?
In fact, he said that Nigerians, the government is paying even much more than the previous administration paid for subsidy.
He said the federal government, under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu, as from day one, be subsidizing petrol, also known as PMS. These are so far cost the president administration about 8 trillion naira since inception on May 29th, 2023 to date. This is a categorical statement.
Yes.
He gave figures.
Yes.
He gave date. He gave duration. And he is known as Nasir El-Rufai. It's not just one rabble rouser somewhere. Although, he now said, again, we don't know, you know, the reason why he was saying it. Maybe it was just being objective, by the way, to say you should cut Mr. President some slack. It is too early to judge him. He said, though it is too early to judge the administration, it has been in government for only 9 months. Leadership is work in progress, you know, yada, yada, yada. He said so many things as well. And he said it takes a courageous leader to make a decision. And when you now get into the saddle, you see that things are not like that. You try to reverse and do whatever is right. So in his context of speaking, he feels the president is doing what is right. But the question is, how come the president and this administration and their handlers have always maintained that subsidy is gone? They have come out to refute that statement so many times, because many industry players have come out to say, if the landing cost of petrol is this particular amount and it's coming this way and put 1 or 2, 3 together, it can't be sold at that price that the government is saying they are selling it. And maybe that explain this, you know, the petrol of 580 naira per liter that came in, that particular thing in 2023, you've seen 580, 600, 620, 650, 680. Now it's hovering between 680, 700, 720 without anybody being informed. They're talking about competitiveness. Oh, it will, you know, prices will come down, competition will happen. We are yet to see that. But I know the handlers of the government definitely have much explanation. They have more explanation to give, because now, do you want to see Nasir El-Rufai as a rabble rouser or as an opposition figure?
Well, a lot of people will actually consider this a political statement by Nasir El-Rufai, owing to the fact that, you know, what happened last year where his name wasn't cleared for a ministerial position, and after that he went, you know, off the scene. He wasn't heard.
He went back to school.
You understand? So him coming back, people want to think like, okay, this is Nasir El-Rufai trying to make a statement. Yes, a comeback, and this is a big comeback. Everyone is talking about Nasir El-Rufai today. It's because people might feel this is a political statement, so he can come back to the scene. But I
hope he has fact to what he's saying. But many persons will want to say it's Nasir El-Rufai. He knows what he's saying. His stature is big enough to have fact and figures. By the way, don't forget, he's not having it easy at home as well, because there's this back and forth between, you know, handlers of Chief Sani. Interesting days ahead, by the way. We'll be on this matter, not because it's El-Rufai, not because it's Tinubu's administration, but because you, our distinguished viewers, we deserve the right to know the truth, and just about the truth. We shall be on this matter. We'll go on this quick break. When we return, we'll tell you what the papers are saying. Interesting news, by the way.
Welcome back, and it's the newspaper review segment. The papers are in, and now we are going to go through the front pages of these different dailies. Start with me from the Punch newspaper this morning. The Punch says vandalism worsens grid collapse as gas shortage slashes power supply with the riders. TCN discos blame gas shortage, vandalism for frequent collapses, firm begs customers. TCN plans fresh investment in power infrastructure as grid collapse sixth time in 2024. And, the last time we had the senior communications officer for the IBDC Ocean region here on the show, she also tendered an apology to their customers, saying that, things will get better. And I remember I read a report where it says that discos have actually sent in apologies 30 times within 1 week. And I'm like, what's happening? What is happening? People are being charged appropriately, but they are not getting value for their money.
Is even appropriately, they have not been charged appropriately, because it will only be appropriate if they are having commensurate value
for what they
that
charged.
Means they have been charged abysmally. They are trying to rip them off. You are telling them this is the the amount you have to be paying, but we are sorry that we couldn't give you that quality and value of of your money, of your vending, but we are sorry. But it doesn't take away the fact that you are charging me at that point. I'm still paying. You are telling me that you are sorry. How does that help me?
And we have the second rider. TCN plans fresh investment in power infrastructure as grid collapse sixth time in 2024. And someone will say, this is the way they should have gone before all of this started. It's like putting the cart before the horse. Away from that, still on the Punch newspaper for today, Yoruba Nation, lecturer defense participation, police parade 21. Testimony backlash. Dunamis apologizes as Abuja testifier meets Enenche and his wife. And you can see the picture there of the Dunamis senior pastor, Pastor Enenche, and the testifier, Mrs. Veronica Ayim, there. And away from that, Oromoni, father kicks as Corona blames parents, doctor for teenager's death. If you remember that story of Oromoni Jr., Sylvester Jr. there, at the time where it was said that he was bullied and he was bullied to death. That was the allegation there by seniors, and the matter was dragged. In fact, he wasn't buried for a long time. I think long time. It was recently that his father agreed to bury the boy. And now, for you to get more details of this particular story, you can get on to page 5 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Father kicks as Corona blames parents, doctors for teenager's death. Top strip of the Punch newspaper this morning. State police law amendment may take 2 years. 2 years. And Naira nears 1,000 to the dollar at parallel market. This is good news, but then people are asking for corresponding, effects on the prices of goods and services. Dangote modular refineries to pay Naira for crude, and this is also a good one there. Nigeria's FDI fell by 819 billion in 10 years. The Minister of Finance and Coordinator Minister of the Economy, Wale Adun, speaks on that. That will be all from the Punch newspaper this morning.
Interesting one here. By the way, the picture that we have here, Evelyn, is that of the former number one at the U.S. By the way, that's Mr. Donald Trump standing trial. And many Nigerians will say, can we ever get to this point here in Nigeria where a former number one will be standing trial, to defend, will be called to question? And you can see the guy there, although he's not even know Trump for who he is. It doesn't really, the one we say he doesn't send.
He's not shaken.
But the thing is, you are still there to answer, and it's as simple as that. If we were to get to that realm, you want to imagine how many number one will have been docked, in Nigeria here. But moving on, Daily Independent newspaper defend Tinubu or quit. Matawale tells northern appointees. Interesting.
Amazing.
Yeah. Amazing. That's the word. Defend him or quit. Interesting. Maybe, you know, many persons have talked about how some persons up north are not really, you know, don't let me say defend, supporting, or how do I, maybe I should say like that, how they are quick to find faults,
With
you know, with this administration, and which they didn't in the former administration, even when it was obvious, in the face of obvious killings and kidnappings, many of them never spoke on it, you know. But now, you know, something like that is happening and they are quick to say these things. But
the question will be, are you to defend the president or defend the interest of the country? You know, a lot of people have been, you know, talking about politicians recruiting foot soldiers with taxpayers' money to do their own job.
Well, they are appointees of the government. I mean, appointees of the Mr. President. Talking about the cabinet members this way.
Appointees of the president of where? Federal Republic
of the country, of
Nigeria. They are being paid with the taxpayers' money. See, it's just...
So Matawale is taking loyalty above the Constitution.
They're supposed to be loyal to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So are you telling me if the president does something that is insane, something that is not within the confines of the law, these ones too should defend him?
Evelyn, your guess is as good as mine. That's what he's calling for. Support. Abi, how did he say it now?
Defend Tinubu or quit.
Quit.
It's an anomaly.
Tells northern appointees.
It's an anomaly. And
maybe
the fact that
he's saying
we see
divided
it as
loyalty, that's why he's speaking up. But this speaks volume, by the way.
If the appointees of the political party is a different kettle of fish. But if the appointees of the government, their loyalty should stand with the Constitution.
Being pampered and paid and furnished by the Nigerian people's money.
Exactly.
I agree with you, totally, totally. NSA received 22 rescued Zamfara varsity student staff. NDLEA arrests 50,901 suspects, secures 9,034 convictions in 38 months. Invasion of Oyo Government Secretariat. Yoruba Nation agitators name sponsors justify action. And police parade teacher, 1 female, 19 other suspects, recover guns, flags, cutlasses, and others. And inflation rate increases to 33.2% in March. A Romani died of negligence from parents. Doctor. That's coming from Lagos Corona. Bottom Street, TCN restores collapsed grid, blames incident on fire. Maybe this collapsed grid needs some, heavy cementing or something. I'm just using my colloquial sense to say that, because why the thing, every now and then is collapsing. Some level of energy has to be, pushed or pumped into that for whatever energy means. And inflation rate increases to 33.2% in March. I thought we were on 31.9 just a month ago. Now it's 33.2% in March, and that's why that question will not go away. The Nigerian Naira is making gain against foreign currency, but inflation is getting high. Some explanation is needed here. That's all the Daily Independent has for us today.
All right, from Daily Independent, we'll switch to Vanguard. Vanguard newspaper this morning. More pressures on pockets as food inflation rises to 40%. I'll take that again. More pressures on pockets as food inflation rises to 40%. Riders high electricity tariff to drive further rise. This is according to analysts. It's bad for businesses, Nachima says, and small businesses to lose capital base. Asbon is speaking. And away from that, Oyo invasion, Yoruba Nation sponsors promised to end my anger. Female suspect speaks. With the riders, we do not regret our actions, defiant suspects say. And local security outfit discovers hideouts. Makinde hails security agencies for peace in Oyo. Invasion is treasonable, Oyo government says, and treat invaders as coupists. YCE tells FG it's an act of treason, Bode judge says, as MKO's Abiola's son blasts Onitiri Abiola for invasion. and you can see the pictures of the suspects paraded by the police there, fully kitted in the army camouflage, the military, apparel there. And one would say, what audacity. What audacity do you have to put on that military camouflage?
Color of the camouflage, I wonder where it belongs. A camouflage is a camouflage, by the way. Yeah. But when you see that color, it's not reminiscent of any of our colors. But then a camouflage is a camouflage. And the audacity, just like you talked about, in invading a government property.
It's like you invading the seat of power in Oyo State, the Secretariat. I mean, it's really, really worrisome. It's worrisome at this time. But then, there are imagined stories, reports coming out from this particular story, and we wait to see. Especially, one of the writers saying, we do not regret our actions, But then, let's see. Chibok, 1,680 more Nigerian school children abducted in 10 years. This is coming from UNICEF. Nigeria grows oil reserves to 37.5 billion barrels. That story is on page 19. And on page 8, illegal traffic enforcement. Miscreants take over Lagos roads. And Western nations urge restraint as Israel War Cabinet meets second time in less than 24 hours. On top corner, e-payment transactions rise 89% to 257.7 trillion naira in Q1 of the year 2024. Why electricity power system collapsed fourth time in 2024. I think the Punch gave it a sixth time. Okwama Army lacks power to deny Oborowori journalists access. Delta stakeholders and Falana speak. And there is also an emerging investigative report on this particular Okwama incident by the ICRR. And we are hearing some updates that calls for questioning. And I think the Army also has a lot of questions to answer concerning this particular incident. FG subsidizing petrol in trillions of naira. Ex-Governor El Rufai speaks. And just for the laugh, Mr. and Mrs., I had to leave office early. I farted over 6 times and the stench that followed was unbearable. Most of my colleagues had to abandon their offices. What did you feed me with? That's Mr. questioning Mrs. Mrs. replies, not from my food. If you're in doubt, fart again and let's perceive the order. Okay. So what is Mrs. saying? That he has been feeding on some other woman's food. So I know the stench of the fat.
Why say other woman's food? Why not other person's food?
You and I know what he means.
That's bizarre, by the way. To say whatever I gave you, if you fart, I know.
I know the kind of stench that comes out from my own food.
Excuse me,
amazing.
Please. Yeah.
All right, that will be all from the Vanguard.
Interesting one. I think it's morning, so don't let's talk about that. Many persons are just rising up. Moving on to the Guardian. The Guardian newspaper. Households groan over food prices as inflation defies intervention. It's looking so. And it's a sad one to have this headline saying, seems the effort, is defying intervention, the inflation rather, that's the result, irrespective of, the interventions. Now, we have the pictures here of Mr. President, the economic captain, that's Mr. Oyegunle, who doubles as the finance minister, Mr. Cardoso here, Adebayo Adelabu, the man in charge of power, and of course, Mr. Kerry, that's the man in charge of the Ministry of Agriculture. And these are critical stakeholders, by the way, because we talk about the president, the father of the nation, of course, the man in charge of the economy, the financial regulator, Mr. Oyegunle here, the man in charge of power. These are critical sectors of the economy, and then talking about food, agriculture. It seems they might be trying, they might be working, something is not connecting somewhere. Although they've said it's a long haul, but we wait to see. More than 33% inflation right now is not good at all. Federal government targets $15.7 trillion artificial intelligence market. right? And by the way, that's the age in which we are in right now. AI doing the most at this time. What suspense Ganduje over alleged graft state chapter keys? That's something that took many persons by surprise. The national leader of the party, the national chairman rather, not leader, chairman of the ruling party being suspended, from his word for alleged graft and the state chapter. We learned after he was allegedly suspended by his ward executive. By the way, every suspension would, according to political parties' laws, most of them would be done from the grassroots. Suspensions are done from the grassroots and ratified, up there, by the way. We learned the state chapter kicked, and they instead sacked all the ward chairman, all the ward executive. The ward executive sacked the national chairman, and then the state chapter kicked and sacked the ward executive. So it's a tit for tat. We wait to see that there is something there, there is a dust that's being raised, because it's quite unusual, for a national chairman, a two-term governor of Kano State, someone of his stature, all of a sudden to be sacked in that manner. We wait to see. National grid suffers third collapse, worsens 20 hours per target. Interesting. Baker backs life jail for defiling neighbor's daughter. Bizarre there. Southwest leaders, bizarre mean, violation of any woman, either a child or a girl or a boy. It should not be done. That's what I mean. Southwest leaders fought Oyo invasion as police parade on one suspect, leveraging automation and prompt justice delivery system. News analysis page 4 has that. And court attributes Sylvester Romani's death to parents and doctors' negligence. By the way, I think there is a response from the legal luminary, Femi, trying to speak to that matter, to say it's like the court, ignored some facts. We'll wait to see how this pans out, but it doesn't take away the fact that a young, promising guy, Sylvester, Romani, has died on the matter. BCDC other soldiers to leave Bokos as death toll hits 30. This is one death too many. By the way, that's all The Guardian asked for us today, and that's where we take our pause. And then when we'll come back, we'll speak to that situation that happened over the weekend, the invasion, in quote, of the Oyo State Government Secretariat by some agitators, Yoruba Nation agitators. What was their ground? What did they want? Did they want to take over power? Many persons will say, is the agitation even rife again? Is there a need for the agitation ab initio, especially as a Yoruba man, in quote, is in charge? Or is the agitation or whatever they want beyond Yoruba man's presidency? Many agitations, and then very importantly, many persons are asking the question, who are their sponsors and what do they really want? All these questions will be, answered, hopefully spoken to, because we'll be joined by critical stakeholders in that particular conversation. It's the Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. We'll be back. Right, you're welcome back. And as we said, the conversation is about Yoruba Nation agitation. By the way, let me state it here for the record that agitations are not something that is not expected, or are not expected rather. Many agitations happen around the world and towards different causes, by the way. But narrowing it down to what we are seeing here, there has been kind of agitations in the southeast, in northeastern part of the country, northwestern part of the country, with some groups taking responsibility for those agitations, either for the right reasons or for the wrong reasons. But the agitation this morning is about what is termed Yoruba Nation. There have been calls in some quarter, by the way, at some different points by different groups and different individuals that the name, that coined name, Yoruba Nation, some have talked about, okay, maybe the Yoruba people should be given their right, place, in having things that cover their interest. When you're talking about the bigger picture in Nigeria, those are some persons' agitation. Some persons, I think Chief Sunday Igbo, Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Sunday Igbo, at a time he was leading an agitation, and he was majorly about the protection of his people, the Yoruba people, from some invaders, who he said were harassing, maiming, killing, raping the women of the Yoruba people. And he said they should leave, the geographical area at some point, which later degenerated. Those were agitations as well. And then there are some individuals who feel the Yoruba people should succeed from the entire country and have their own nation, hence the name Yoruba Nation. By the way, maybe that explains the invasion of the Oyo State Secretariat in Ibadan at the weekend, where some individuals went there, dressed in military camouflage, tried to force their way down that seat of power, but they were rounded off, but were arrested, and yesterday they were paraded by the Oyo State Police Command for different reasons, and of many of these things. Yesterday, it was even said, the commissioner said, that's a reasonable felony offense for you to try to take over, power in that particular instance. But then we'll be speaking to critical stakeholders this morning to shed light into what that agitation was about. Who are the sponsors? What do they want exactly? Why carry arms? Because we learned some ammunitions were recovered in the, there are video clips that have gone viral. Cutlasses, machetes, gun pump actions was recovered from them. And then what was their aim? We have been joined this morning by Comrade Mayowa Oyegunle, popularly known as Comrade Omayo. He's the youth leader of the Yoruba Nation. Good morning, Comrade. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, sir. How was the night?
Thank you. Very well. Thank you for joining us. And of course,
you're welcome, sir.
Yeah, we are being joined again by public affairs analyst and commentator, Gbolabo, PhD. For short, Dr. Gbolabo joins us, this morning as well. Yeah. Doctor, thank you for joining us. All right. Now, let's speak to this matter, and I'll start with the comrade. Comrade, some persons dressed, and I'm saying this very carefully, some persons dressed in military attire, invaded the Oyo State government secretariat at the weekend. Are they from your end? Did you send them? And what is the agitation about, really?
Thank you very much, sir. The people who invaded the Oyo Secretariat, they are not from Yoruba Nation. And we have been saying this, I think that was last year, that there are some people who invaded Amolodun radio station. And we condemn it instantly. And these are the people, set of a woman called herself Miss Modupe Onitiri Abiola, which claims she's one of MKO Abiola's wife. And suddenly she just came. You can recall that was 2020 June 12, when we came out in a peaceful rally whereby we are asking for our self-determination, and everybody in the world simply knows that self-determination is our right as the indigenous citizen of the country. And what happened is that we have started our own movement far back 2020, and we have been doing it peacefully, whereby we don't attack any law enforcement. We are doing it the way our father, our leader, Emeritus Professor Banja Kitoye, has been advising us to do as an old man. Likewise, the brave warrior, which called Chief Dr. Sunday Adeyemo. So we have been doing our rally far back 2020, and there is no any problem till when the DSS invaded our leaders' house, which is Chief Dr. Sunday Adeyemo, which is on the 3rd of July. And ever since that time, we start in our only way doing it. But suddenly this woman just came in that was ending of 2021 and started talking all kind of things that the way the federal government doing rubbish, all kind of thing. And when we see somebody that is notable and well recognition like that, there is no way, because we are all Yoruba people. We accommodate that kind of person because we believe that by working together we achieve what we want. But we don't know our own intention is different from us. But what happened is that she started entering into our midst, doing all kind of things. Maybe like he come to me, he used my privilege to enter into a place. He will leave me and go to the person maybe that I know that is either maybe that I can achieve another thing from that person, and he will now render me useless and started saying all kind of trash about me. That's the kind of method she used to get into emeritus, father emeritus, Professor Banji Akitoye. So ever since that time, we discovered that we chase her out, and because we know our mission is totally different from what we carry. We, as you know, that if you want to get your freedom out of a country, either by war or diplomacy, and you will see that everything we have been doing from day one is diplomacy means, because we believe that we are the owner of the land and we have all rights and we have all documents that can back it to stand for our land. That's the main reason why we are doing everything the way we support. This woman just suddenly came and said that, well, the rally that we have been doing, we are using it to be frauding the people, saying all kind of things, that all the money that they are contributing into me, just started using defamation of character. And we have not even seen this woman before. Maybe just the little time we have only conversation with her is when you will see people inviting her into their YouTube channel, asking her questions. But there are some questions this woman will waive up. So we now see that our agenda is totally different from what we carry. Then we left her and we come out straight. We make a press release that was in Amulu, when Amuludu incident happened. We shout, we do all kind of things, but we noticed that the Nigerian federal government did not even say anything about it. Till when he now still do another thing again. And when you see, ever since when she did that Amuludu invasion, there is no everything going peacefully normal again. Because we expect that the federal government is supposed to get her, declare her wanted, or arrest her. But we see that the federal government did not do anything. Since where she now do this one that she did, what that woman used to do is that she's not even in our midst. She will just go to one platform called Ijilemakos, and that platform is in Turkey. So what she will do is that she will just say something there, and there are some people whereby, I don't know, maybe I'm sorry to use that, maybe they are lunatic. How could somebody that if not see with direct view?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'd like us to, I know that you're trying to speak your truth and, of course, make your opinion known, but I'd like us to be very careful about the use of words, because it is a family TV. Yeah. It's okay. Just for us to be on the same side. Now, you have dissociated yourself and the group that you represent from, Miss Onitiri Abiola. This time you have said she's not with you, and the incident that happened, you didn't have hand in that. Yes, but you're saying that your group is about secession. Let me just take it back a bit. When the agitation that Chief Sunday Adeyemo, popularly called Sunday Igboho, was very hot, I think it was about protection of the Yoruba people from invaders, from people that are coming to harass his people, destroy the farmlands and affect the economy of his people. That was what he was speaking about. Was it really about secession, seceding away from the Yoruba nation? And after everything, what has gone down, now that he has been released, he hasn't spoken about secession again, and Yoruba people, in which you are saying you are speaking for, if actually their aim is to still move out of Nigeria. So I'd like to ask you, Comrade, do you still think that you are speaking with the interest of your group, in the interest of your group rather, and if Chief Sunday Igboho is still about moving away, from the nation called Nigeria? Would that be right?
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Our aims and objective is to opt out of Nigeria, and the main reason why is that when everybody see the union whereby we are together is not the way it's supposed to be. There is no way we do is for we to opt out. When you see the kind of economics we are into, when you see the kind of the way Fulani X-Men doing us, when you see the way the Fulani claiming they are the indigenous and they have rights in every places to do anyhow, which means we don't have the equal right. And when you see the ethnicity that we are not together, when it talks about language, culture, even our heritage, it's not the same thing. No matter what the Nigerian want to carve it. When we talks about being as a country, now Yoruba land has been a country since ancient days, 1960, or I would say amalgamation that brought us together. And what they say in that amalgamation is when 100 years, everybody to go his or her way. When they see the union is not compatible.
Sorry, yes, so, Comrade, I'm sorry to butt in,
yes,
but because of time, it was independence that happened in 1960. Amalgamation happened in 1914.
In 1914, yeah.
Yeah, by the way, but then those were some agitations, by the way, by your group. And many persons will say, maybe you are not speaking for the entirety, the generality of the Yoruba people. But quickly, before we move to Dr. Gbolabo, there is a Yoruba man in charge right now. His name is President Bola Tinubu. When we say, what's your agitation again?
Okay, thank you, sir. About Mr. President. Mr. President is a Yoruba man, and there's something about we Yoruba people. We don't disrespect our elder ones. And what happens is that we make our elder ones to satisfy themselves. But we know in a country called Nigeria, the Fulani or the Hausa people are the one ruling the country. And when you observe the 1999 Constitution, you will know it's not working in accordance to what we favor with the Yoruba people. You understand?
Right.
Now, what happened is that we have been doing our movement peacefully, and what we believe is for we to protect our land. And it's not by violence. There are a lot of countries whereby, they are doing the way we do. We come out, speak our mind, and go inside back. But you never see us maybe sowing any harms or doing any bad thing, because we know we want to fight for our people and we can't inconvenience our people. That does it, sir.
All right. Okay. Please hold on. And at this point, I'd like to bring Dr. Gbolabo in. Doctor, you've listened to what Comrade Oyo said. And I'd like to ask you for your reaction, firstly, when you heard about that bizarre invasion of the Oyo State Secretariat. What was your initial reaction? And with what you have heard just now, what would be your take?
Yeah, what I've just heard does not change my position about the degree of stupidity and the ignorance displayed by the people that invaded the
Doctor, the choice of what is important, please.
Yes, it's very important,
yeah.
But I'm not blackmailing them. But in all forms, in all ways, there is no way you will address this issue without being corrosive on these people, because their attitude did not display any form of logicality. They didn't display any form of reasoning. Okay, let me now merge it with. Before I even merge it with what the man said, the comrade said, what actually are they fighting for? I mean, the group that invaded the secretariat. If they take over the secretariat, does that mean that they have taken over Yoruba land or Yoruba Nation? Is that the headquarters? What is their plan? Have they conducted any plebiscite in Yoruba land before they can know that, the majority of Yoruba is in support of their action? And if they are in support of their action, is this kind of action that will give us Yoruba Nation? No, you just woke up to invade someone's office. At least we have 6 states in Yoruba land. If the definition of their Yoruba land is what we know as Yoruba land, we have 6 states. And the 6 states, nothing happened there except Ibadan. So are they saying that after they taking over the office, they will chase away everybody there and the next allocation will be paid to them, or what? This is just an overt display of emotion without recourse to reasoning. It doesn't make sense in any way. In fact, it's just like I don't want to use a corrosive word because it doesn't make sense. Now, let me now merge it with what the comrade said. Yeah, comrade raised a lot of points, but almost all the points he raised are not really strong. Let's start from the amalgamation. When we were marched together in Nigeria, the Lord Lugard and his cohort didn't seek the opinion of anybody, and they just foster it on us that because you are within the same Niger area, you become Nigeria, which is very, very wrong. Truly, it was entrenched in the document that after 100 years, if the relationship is not cohesive enough, a segment can opt out. Fine. And let's now take that statement with the reality of the moment. One, we all know that Nigeria is not functioning the way it should be. And it will be deceiving ourselves if we say it is due to Hausa or Fulani, Urobo or Ijo. No, it is because of the political class. Most of the people we have in politics, they are either not intelligent enough to know what we want, or they are not educated enough to know what they are doing, or a lot of things are wrong with Nigeria. But even if at all Yoruba is going to break away from this union, there is a procedure. I like what my comrade said about self-determination. Right from 1945, after Second World War, it has been entrenched in the United Nations Charter that every indigenous people that have language, that have culture, occupying a geographical location can ask for self-determination or renegotiate their unionship, which is normal. But let's look at the reality on ground now. Can anybody tell me a segment of the country that is enjoying better than another country? Go to Ijo land where we get the oil. Tell me something better in that place than for them to fight for some part of the allocation, collect the money, drink there. Tell me the development that is taking place there. Come to Yoruba land. I think Yoruba land is still the most developed, not because of government's money. It is because of individual effort. At least we are able to maximize the opportunity given to us. Go to the north. As of today, it's only 3 states in the north that can come up and say that this is a state. You are talking of Kaduna State, Kano State, and Borno State. And Borno State was not even part of them until this current governor. So if the current governor can bring something new, that means the problem is with the leadership, not even the ethnic group. Tell me the ethnic group where you are not seeing poor people. Tell me the ethnic group where people are not suffering. Tell me the ethnic group where all of them are millionaires. None. It is just the political class. Now, what we people supposed to be looking for is confederation, not breaking away. Confederation, I repeat, not breaking away. That is, each region should be able to administer their resources, administer their security, and be in cohesion. Now, if we say breaking away, who told you that if we break away in Yoruba land, that the Oyos do not want to break up, and by the time we break away from Nigeria, someone will tell you that no, in the next 100 years, Ijebu and the Egbas can never be the president because they have always been president when we were in Nigeria. So it should now come to Ijesha people. You know, I don't. Let me tell you clean and clear. I don't support the present operation of Nigerian system, especially as he referred to the Constitution. The Constitution was made by less than 30 people, and they said we Nigerians because of the military, and because they were the military junta that cannot be challenged by law, and they now say we Nigerians. Who are they? And the Constitution is flawed in many aspects. I agree. There are errors in that Constitution, and the Constitution cannot take us anywhere because the Constitution itself is an error. And when what you want to use to measure has already contained error. Whatever you use it to measure will lead to error. So a faulty constitution cannot be a faultless society. We need to do that. But what we need is self-determination in terms of regional autonomy. Not saying that we want to break away. Break away from where? Right. What of the relationship we've had? What of the people that are married on the other side? What of the assets of Yorubas in the north, in the east? What of the assets of other people there? How are we going to go about this thing? But we can go into regional autonomy, not which may be partially self-determination. But in terms of talking about this Onitiri, I think Onitiri is a misguided person, because I don't know how an educated person, someone who schooled abroad, someone who went and dined with intelligent people, will just come up and say that the best way to get self-determination is to commit treason and felony when he has not presented his case to any court in Nigeria. This thing has procedure. Present your case to Nigeria.
Yes.
Okay. They didn't present to Nigeria. They didn't go to United Nations. They didn't go to ECOWAS Nation. And they just came up with their cutlass and talking rubbish.
If you would permit me to butt in, I know that you're really in your, you're really pissed at this time about what is happening. But then you mentioned while giving your submission earlier on that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is flawed, and as such, anything that actually comes out from that Constitution will also be flawed. And the anomalies that we have in our systems, system today. But then, if you would recall, or if just to let you know, there is an ongoing, constitutional amendment, being proposed by the 10th National Assembly. Do you believe that anything positive can come out of that particular amendment? For you, what do we need? Is it an amendment of this constitution, or for us to have a brand new constitution entirely?
Yes, we can still maintain the current constitution. Every constitution on earth, every agreement, every contract, every relationship is based on negotiation and review. Even in marriage, your wife, maybe when you are cutting your wife, if you don't come home very early, your wife can cook for you. But when marriage ensues, you can still review it that, oh girl, I'm not your cook. The cooking is meant for women. It's part of revision and renegotiation. Okay, if you can't cook for me, this and that, the condition will be there, because human beings are not perfect. Any document we have may not be relevant over time. So review and renegotiation is always in tandem with constitution and every other document. But they do it with sincerity? That is what we're saying. And we can't establish that they will do it with sincerity until they do it. You remember there was a time one Senate said that one Senate I don't know, I can't remember, maybe during Jonathan's, this issue was raised that we need constitution amendment. They raise money and nothing happened. Well, we believe that the man there now supposed to do the needful. But let's wait until it is done. It is then we can know which aspect are they going to change. Have they called people to submit paper? Have they called people to come and raise concern about gray areas? Because what is not right to Yoruba person is not what is maybe different from what is not right to the people from Ijo. For example, now the definition of constitutional review to Ijo man is for them to control 50% of their resources, and to an average Yoruba man, review is okay. Let there be regional autonomy so that whatever is in your region, you take over it. To the north, their own agenda may be different, but these people should communicate. They should submit papers on the areas they think that is not favoring them. Then we can tender it, negotiate, review, and come up with something tangible. Until we do it, Nigeria is still having problem.
Okay, you spoke about the time of tenure of President Goodluck Jonathan. We had the confab in 2014, and over the years, you know, people have asked for the report, the recommendation from that confab to be implemented. Even till this present administration, people are calling for that document to be reviewed and the recommendations therein implemented.
That's why I doubt the sincerity. If the sincerity is there, and we should change modalities of doing things this time around, right, the senators, the rep should represent us and submit our grievances.
Okay, so let's just move back to the incident that happened on Saturday, April 13th in Oyo State. Now, 21 people were arrested by the police, you know, pertaining to that incident, and one of the suspects, who is actually a teacher at the Federal Government College, Oyo, Ogundeji, says that their leaders, I mean their sponsors, have actually taken the necessary steps before they invaded the Secretariat, adding that their intent was not to kill or injure anyone, but to declare a Yoruba nation, which according to him is their right. And he describes their action as legal. In his words, he says, "Our leaders have taken all the steps they ought to have taken on the issue. They have embarked on a referendum. They've issued almost 500 petitions. It was signed and served to all the Yoruba-speaking states, Osun, Oyo, Ondo, Lagos, Ekiti, Kogi, and Kwara State. All these states were served with official letters, and we have our own copies too. So our action at the Oyo State Government Secretariat is legal. We were only there to express happiness and joy over the proclamation of Yoruba Nation. We were not there to kill anybody." How do you react to this? And also, are you concerned that the age bracket of those that were arrested was actually from between 25 to 78? Yes, I think we had a 75-year-old man, not 70, a 75-year-old man, you know, arrested as part of the suspects that invaded the Oyo State Secretariat on that fateful day.
I think these people should be given an award for being the most ignorant set of people out of Yoruba land, because they displayed that level of ignorance with all seriousness and professionally. They said, look at that statement. They said they have served letters to states. In what capacity? In what capacity did they serve the letter? It's just like Gbolabo John standing up now to go and serve letter to Tinubu that I want to declare Yoruba State. In what capacity? Am I representing Yoruba nations? If I'm representing Yoruba nation, who are the people that legitimize my action? Was there any plebiscite or referendum that took place that these people are representing us? And in what way have we been shortchanged? Is the federal government not paying allocation to Yoruba states? Are we not having the equal representation of senators and the House of Representative members? Don't we have governors going to Abuja to attend a meeting? Have we stopped that? Have we stopped collecting allocation from federal government? All these things matter, you know, and we see how the Oyo State or Oyo, Ondo, Kwara still nominated people to go and represent them in the ministerial appointment, to represent them to head the parastatals and ministries, and you are still planning to secede at the same time. Why should they use someone's office as a place of declaration? Why can't they go to TBS? Why should they infringe on constituted authority? I think Ibadan is well known to be a constituted authority state, but no. In any way, who legitimizes them? Where are they deriving their legitimacy authority from? This is just a kind of sentimental action. It has no place in reality. Right. What have they done? Before you can do this, you must have been to. I said you must have been to court. The court must have rejected you or given you wrong judgment. You must have been to ECOWAS court. After ECOWAS court, if you cannot get the judgment, you go to AU. If AU cannot give you what you want, you go to United Nations as stakeholders. So but all these things were not done, and some people just carry cutlass and charm and displaying ignorance somewhere. It's uncalled for.
All right, please hang in there. Comrade Omayo, are you still with us?
I'm with you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Now, you said that the person, Arrowhead, that has been figured in that invasion, being the sponsor of, you know, the backers of that bizarre act, one Mrs. Onitiri Abiola, or Ms. Onitiri Abiola rather, used to be a part of you, and then she came in and manipulated things, and you were working together, and when you saw that intentions were not consistent with your own agitation, you had to let her go. But one would say that means you worked with her at some point, and you had an agreement at some point, and you said it this morning that the Yoruba Nation group that you are representing, you have mentioned Sunday Igbo in this matter, you have mentioned an elder, Professor Banji Akintoye, in this matter. The agitations of the past was about that some regions, some section of the country are more influential than the Yoruba people that you claim to be speaking for. That's why I said that in the other time. Two questions now. One, some persons might want to say, maybe because she didn't carry you along in this particular action of ours and our, you know, volunteers, the people that invaded, that's why you are dissociating yourself from that action, number one. Number two is, whatever your agitations were, that some persons, and when you are mentioning tribes, by the way, we are not playing the ethnic card this morning, we are just speaking to the matter, that some persons, especially from the north, some regions are the ones that are influencing, and they are the owners of this land. That's why I asked you that question, that President Bola Tinubu is the #1 right now. He's a Yoruba man. Have you met him? As Professor Banji Akintoye sought audience with him, you know, to make your agitations known to him, now that you have your kind as #1. So when we want to say, are those agitations of yours still rife? Are they still important? Are they still necessary at this time? Two questions in one. Comrade.
Yeah, thank you, sir. What happened is that Monetary has never had any agreement with us. As you know, on social media, everybody has their voice.
But you worked with her.
I can't condemn anybody.
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
You worked with her at some point.
Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you. I mean, you worked with her at some point.
No. Don't misquote my word. Okay. What happened is that I said some people like interviewing her on their YouTube channel. We have never seen her in person.
Okay.
In person. Anybody you see in person, you have some agreement with, or maybe some kind of document. No. So anybody that our father emeritus Professor Banji Akintoye, we have seen in eye contact. Like our father, Chief Dr. Sunday Adeniyi Adeyemo, we have seen eye contact, and we have written agreement together of doing things together. Not like Onitiri. Onitiri, she's using influence of his husband, and we have condemned her. That was, I think, 2023, whereby she went to Ibadan for this same invasion. But the federal government did not do anything about her. At least, I believe if it is somebody like we now with these such things, you would have seen that they would have pasted all our picture in every places that we are wanted. That is why we are saying that if our federal government did not know anything about it, should declare wanted. At least the Interpol, all kind of means whereby DSS can, so that they can see her in person and ask her in question, what do you see that makes you to do such thing? So anybody that we didn't see in eye contact, we don't have any agreement with, we are not doing anything together. But what I said is that because she's a Yoruba woman and everybody knows her as Abiola's wife, that's where she has that kind of voice. So whenever she say anything on that platform called Ijilema, we don't know the platform, we don't know anything about them. But whenever I say that, because that person has a lot of audience, viewers, so when he say anything there, he can easily manipulate people to comes out.
Okay.
So they just come and do anything they want to do. I don't know. So we don't know anything about her.
How about the
so that's what I'm trying to say, sir.
Yeah, as your organization,
the second one,
audience, yeah.
The second one, sir, concerning our father, Tinubu. Everybody knows in Nigeria, the Constitution 1999 is from the military. And when we talked about democracy, democracy is for the people. But when we talk about this Constitution whereby they are using, in frame of democracy, is not working, sir. And what we are trying to say is that they should bring the Constitution down completely and bring out the new one, whereby everybody will be signatory of. If we don't do that in this country called Nigeria, we'll go nowhere. And the other people from the north, we still have voice more than the people from the down. Because when you see the people that made this constitution, thank God my comrade said something that they are 30 in number. I will say they are 2 in number. And what we call about IBB Babangida, what we talks about our Imam Salam Abaka, these 2 people are the one that composed that constitution whereby we are using. Right. So a constitution whereby our father are not the signatory, no matter how our father is president, nothing we can see.
Comrade,
because
quickly,
it will listen to their voice.
Comrade, very quickly, you know, we are speaking to fact here, and not just postulations, by the way. And it's good that you mentioned about, you know, the drafting of the Constitution of the 1999 and people that were involved, but that's not even the bone of contention here. You've said the 1999 Constitution is flawed, and now my colleague Evelyn the other time talked about there is a committee right now that has been put together, you know, by the National Assembly, comprising of every section of the country who are parliamentarian to see to the review of the 1999 Constitution. So I dare ask you, in as much you say you need something new, something that is all-encompassing, something that will reflect the interest of everybody, are you getting ready to make your contribution, to make your interest known to the Constitution Committee review that has been put together right now? Because that's the right way to go. You want a Constitution review, there is a committee to that. Are you speaking to that? Are you seeing them? Do you have your draft ready? Is Professor Emeritus Banji Akintoye, you know, is he ready? And your entire team to speak to that committee and to be represented when there is call for paper, instead of just saying you want to succeed. And I want to ask you, when you are saying you want to succeed and go to where? Do you still want to maintain the Oyo, Osun, Ekiti, Ogun, Lagos entity? Or what exactly are you talking about? 2 questions. Or my colleague will come. Go ahead, please.
Please unmute your mic, if you can hear us.
Please unmute your mic. Unmute your mic.
Comrade Omeyo, please unmute your mic, please.
Can you hear me now?
All right.
Can you hear me, ma?
All right, go.
Yes, yes.
I'm sorry, some call coming in. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go.
Can you hear me, ma?
Yes, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir. So, like I'm saying that if there's going to be a transparency with the Constitution, and if they're going to bring the Constitution down completely, to now bring another new one, I believe the Yoruba elites are ready to comply. But if in a situation whereby they will amend the Constitution, is nowhere to be, is nowhere to go for. You understand? And main reason is that, you know, when we talks about the Western, the Southwest is I would say is a country on its own, because due to that, if not for the amalgamation and the 1999 Constitution that caused all this, at least we'll be controlling all our resources by ourselves. But in a situation whereby, because of some people, elites, they are some kind of ethnics, they are much more than the people from the South or from the East. They think maybe by voting is what they used to be counting. It's unfair. So with the Southern people, the Southwest people, if the Constitution is going to be in transparent, and all the main stakeholders that are supposed to be on seats, if they will call them on, I believe our father, they are elite, and we don't want anybody, we don't want any casualty in Southwest, because we protect our indigeneity. If that's going to go, no problem. But I know as Nigeria, the Constitution they are using now is not something whereby people can work for. So because when you work tirelessly, you just go down with it.
Okay, Comrade Omeyo, we are pressed for time, but I'd like to ask you this final question. What is the situation of the Yoruba Nation agitation from your end? Are you still on it? Is it on a pause? You know, what exactly is the situation with the Yoruba Nation agitation? Are you still on course?
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Concerning the situation on our hands, we have all our lawyers that we are working as a team together. We are writing to Nigerian federal government, which is the Mr. President. We are writing on the United Nations. We are writing on ECOWAS. We are following all diplomacy means.
Okay.
For we to get what we want, but we are not for violence. We can come out for rally to speak our mind and go back inside, but we never see us disrupt or disrupt the peace of the government, whereby they are still there, because we know they are brothers, they are fathers, and they are too trying to do their own possible best in order for the betterment of the Yoruba people and Nigerian people. But if we see some things whereby it's not working right, I believe we need to speak, because in Nigerian constitution says we have a right to speak, but causing violence is what is not supposed to be. So we are working
it's good to know. Sorry if I'm butting here. It's good to know that you are saying violence is not the way forward. It's good that you are putting it there, so that everyone watching you right now will know that that's not the way to go. If not because of time, I would have loved to say, who exactly are you speaking for? Do you think you have the support of the generality of the Yoruba people to speak for them in this particular way? But quick question, because of time, 5 seconds. Do you still have the support of Chief Sunday Igboho on this matter? Because he has been silent.
Oh, we still have his support, his full support, We still have it, sir. We have it. We have it on this movement, yes, sir.
All right.
But it's just that people, especially so all kind of people whereby they are following us, they are trying to check on his voice note. On his they want to any mood he take, any action he took. That's what they want to use against him. That's why I just kept silent. But he's still fully in Yoruba Nation.
Okay, thank you so much, Comrade Oyegunle Mayowa, popularly known as Comrade Mayor. Thank you for your time. He is the youth coordinator for the Yoruba Nation Agitation Group. We appreciate your time on the show this morning. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, ma. It's my pleasure, ma.
And of course, Dr.
So please, I'm sorry, ma. I'm sorry. I want to use this opportunity to beg our governors that they should please. We are not the invader. We are using diplomacy means. They should please, for God's sake.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
And Dr. Gbolabo Oni, social commentator and public affairs analyst, we'd like to appreciate you for your time this morning. Is there any parting shot you'd like to give to us in 10 seconds? I don't want it to exceed that.
Your parting shot.
We the Yorubas should exercise patience and see what we come out of on this current constitutional review. 1. 2. The person there now is from Yoruba extract. Okay. Let's see what he will do.
All right.
3. A lot of things are happening. We are giving a lot of a chance to autonomize our. So let's see how it works.
All right. Thank you so much for your submissions. We appreciate you this morning.
Thanks so much.
All right. That's the size of the show for today. Right. Focusing on the Yoruba Nation agitation and the invasion that happened in Oyo State over the weekend. And, speaking to these people, it's just to let you know that in any group, in any entity, there will always be different interests. Yeah. And it's better we have those interests brought in and we know how to resolve them.
Yeah. Yes. That's right.
You can watch a recap of the show on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. Connect with us on our different social media platforms, Instagram, X, and Facebook at Western Spring Television. My name is Evelyn Ohiolei, and ensure to always go for peace. Violence is not the way to go.
And taking it from what you said, it was quite instructive that the comrade we spoke to said they are doing everything possible, but not the violent way. So don't take the violent option today. Femi Ojo is my name. God bless Nigeria. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye-bye.